Healthier, Happier Hour. I'm Kiersten. We're so excited you're here.
Yes, we are. And I'm Carli. And we are here to help you get healthy and feel better, connect in your relationships, and enjoy your life through the whole process.
And Carli was not enjoying her life with my joke right before we started. But I was laughing so hard. It felt good to laugh that hard. Anyway, let's do this thing. I'm so excited. So one of our traditions is always to have a beverage to cheers with.
Ooh, cheers.
Look at this beautiful mug. Wait, what do you have?
Look at you.
Yeah.
I got these as a birthday gift last year from two of my best friends. Aww. They're little frosted quinoa glasses, and they make me happy. Fun little.
Love it.
Yeah.
The vessel makes all the difference, right? Mm-hmm. So it's 5:00 somewhere, but it's not 5:00 here. So I have some peppermint tea, darling. I'm trying to feel like spa vibes today.
Spa vibes. I have some, I think it's lemon lime Olipop. And my prebiotics in.
Oh, snap.
My fiber.
Oh, my.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah, I don't even want to hear about liquid fiber. Let's not talk about that, okay? Please. All right.
It's a little bubbly.
Oh, yeah. Cheers love bubbly. Cheers to that. I am a hamster, and I can't handle bubbly, so there's that.
Well, another time.
Another time. Okay, so before we get into calling you and on the spot saying a cheers or tears that you have felt lately, I want us all to get pumped because this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And I'm surprising Carli too, because this is how we do it. We like to surprise each other.
Love to get surprised.
It is talking about casting a vision and why that's important and how that can be important in your life and how that needs to be part of your process. And if you work with us, don't worry, we got you. But we're going to get into it. So you can leave today feeling like, okay, I can do something a little differently to have a better outcome and a better process journey along the way. So I'm excited for that. Can we cheers to start?
Nice. Cheers to that. Yes.
Yay.
I'm excited. Good vision. Okay. My wheels are spinning. They're turning already. I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. Okay, this is also a really good, what it says. I don't know if you can see, Carli.
I can't. Tell me.
What it says in the inside of my mug is friends fill your life with joy. So think about a friend right now. Carli, thanks for being here with me. I really appreciate, I'm so thankful we met each other because the chances were not that we were going to meet, but we did anyway. So yay. I'm so glad I met you.
Yeah, we did. That's going to be an episode coming up soon.
Yeah.
I think. I feel it in the future. The whole story.
I think we need margaritas for that one, though. So maybe we'll do that a little later in the day.
Yes, later in the day.
Okay.
Not at lunchtime.
Okay, so we love doing cheers or tears. And can you just tell everyone listening what's the reason? Like, why?
Yeah, okay, so
prioritize that.
Yes, cheers or tears. So it's in the name. I mean, it's just so obvious, guys. Come on. It's in the name, right? Like cheers, we're cheering for ourselves. Like we're pointing out, we're looking for our wins. We're looking for the ways that we are moving forward. We're taking little steps. We're celebrating the ways that we're showing up for ourselves, that we're moving forward in our journey, whatever that is, like in our health, in our relationships, in our family, in our career. And we're looking for what are these small wins that we notice. Sometimes they're just like funny things that happen. Sometimes they're things that we've been actively working towards. Yeah. And sometimes they're things that are, maybe not completely within our control that we're just celebrating. They're just good things that happen. It can really be like a combination of those things. And then the tears, right? Like it's the opposite. Like those moments where we're just like, oh man, like this was a little bit of a failure. This was a stumble. This is a challenge. This is where I am just kind of struggling a little bit. Like I maybe need a little support, or this is just where I fell short. And we share those, all of them, because they're all part of the journey. Like they're all part of the process of transforming our lives. We all experience them. And we know that success and progress is not a linear journey. And so we just want to be open and real and honest about that. And so we love to just share them, encourage you to find them in your own life so that you can really just build some awareness and look for those in your life and lean into the celebration of the cheers moments. Know that you're not alone in the tears moments and that we're right there with you, and enjoy all of it. Have fun in the midst of all of it. So there it is.
I love it.
How we do it.
Because here's the deal. If you, which I'm not going to lie, I've definitely done this before, in a tears moment, just like rush through it. Like, I don't want to think about that ever again. Like, I literally have a visual in my life when I wiped out, literally wiped out. And I'm not going to brag, but I'm pretty athletic. It was a full wipeout at prom.
Oh, girl.
In the air. And then I poured my drink down my dress. It was delightful. I slammed my knee down, and then I stood right back up. Do you think I acted like anything happened? No, absolutely not. I just kept on walking. But anyway, that image. As one does. As one does. Wouldn't you? But that, if we just do that with all our tears moments, all our like, whoa moments, then guess what? We cannot reflect and learn and get help and support or laugh about it.
No, we can't.
We're ignoring it. So anyway.
We're leaving a lot of pain. Also, like, did you recover? Did the dress recover? What happened?
Okay, the dress did recover and I did recover. Okay, you know I'm from the Great White North. And so, prom is in the early spring. But it was unseasonably hot. Oh, this reminds me of another conversation we've had that you were telling a story. Anyway, it was unseasonably hot in northern Michigan, not the UP. There's a difference, people. Get them in now. Northeast Michigan. But so the center, like where we were having prom, they were trying to turn the air conditioning on because it was so dang hot. Lucky for me, the air conditioning was malfunctioning. Instead, the heat was blowing out. And so my dress just dried real quick, like.
Oh, no.
And I'll have to bring it sometime because I still have that dress that.
Yeah, as you should.
I mean, in my closet.
As you should.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
But yeah, hello.
Okay.
Hello.
So all to say, right?
Wow.
All to say, like that was insane. And we need to celebrate the cheers and notice the tears or lean in instead of leaning away or ignoring.
You gotta lean in. You gotta lean into the tears. Yeah.
So next time when I wipe out,
our way through the tears. Yeah.
Next time when I wipe out, I'm just gonna stick my knee down. Boom, stick it. Okay. All right. We need to hear cheers or tears from you. What do you got?
Okay. Gosh, man. This is just bringing up so many different things to mind. I had my mind kind of made up. I knew you were going to ask me. And I don't normally. I'm normally like, I'm just going to see what comes, what speaks to me,
in the moment.
What comes to my mind in the moment. But I actually had my mind made up. And now after this story, I'm kind of like, maybe not. Maybe I want to share something different.
Do what your heart wants, girl.
Do what your heart
and your red shirt.
What your heart feels. That was so good. That was such a good laughing moment. I needed that this afternoon. Just a crazy morning, but man, yeah, I'm going in a different direction than what I had planned. Actually,
I love it,
which is totally fine, and the way that most things happen, honestly. So this actually is something that happened yesterday,
Okay.
I was putting my son to bed, and he's kind of like, he just turned 3, He's in a big boy bed. He has been for a while. He just is like, gets really amped up before bedtime and needs like physical touch is like his love language, but it's like wrestling physical touch. It's not like, oh, cuddle. He doesn't want to cuddle. He doesn't want a back rub. He doesn't want me to sing a song. No, he wants to like wrestle and pow pow. This is what he calls it. Okay.
I feel you, buddy. I feel you.
I'm just simmer down. Like, let's just.
Your energy is here. Bring it down to here.
Bring it down, buddy. So anyhow, we've figured this out that he just needs a little bit extra, like one-on-one time before bed. So we're like doing that. We're, I'm sitting on his bed, talking to him about the day, getting ready. Like we finish his book. We're just making small talk. I'm tucking him in and everything. And, I'm trying to get him to wind down. I'm like, all right, buddy, mommy's going to like tuck you in. I'm going to go out. Like, give me a hug and a kiss. He's like, oh, Mom, we need to play. And I'm like, buddy, we're going to play tomorrow. We will have all day tomorrow to play after he drops us off at school. We'll play in the morning. I'm naming all these things we're going to do. He's like, no, I just really want to play. He's a little bit of a lisp from time to time and sometimes can't say his L's. So I'm like, buddy, we're going to play tomorrow. It's bedtime. It's past bedtime. We got to go to sleep. Yeah. Mom. No. Hey. And I'm like, oh, you're saying pray. Okay. Yeah, we can pray, which like we do frequently. Yeah. But I was just kind of in the go. Let's go. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's pray. And normally I'm initiating this and normally I'm the one who prays. And I'm like, what do you want to pray for? 99.9% of the time, his favorite food is breakfast sausage. So 99.9% of the time, I'm like, all right, what do you want to pray for? God, thank you for sausage.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
And then I'm prompting him, what else?
Yeah.
Thank you for Dad. Thank you for dogs. Thank you for monster trucks.
At least he's saying thank you. When I prayed as a kid, I gave God a to-do list. So I appreciate his approach.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, this is good. So I'm like, okay, all right, mommy will pray. What do you want to say thank you for? What do you want to tell God? He's like, no, I'm going to pray. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. And he said, Mom, earlier yesterday you were working with Miss Kiersten, which really was just earlier in the day.
Right.
We were doing like, you and I were working for a little bit, like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. And he said, I'm sorry that I got into the pantry and I got the chocolate chips down and poured them into the bowl and ate the bowl of chocolate chips. And can you forgive me? I said, yes, I can forgive you, buddy. He said, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to God.
That's amazing.
I was like, oh,
I don't need your forgiveness over here.
Well, I was like, patted him on the belly. I'm like, I think God forgives you. Mommy forgives you too. Mm-hmm. He said, and next time I'm going to ask Mom first. And I was like, that's a really good thing to do, buddy, is ask Mom first before you climb up into the pantry and get the whole container of chocolate chips down and pour an entire bowl and eat them. Yeah. But it was so funny. It was so funny. It was like, Carli, keep your cool. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to God.
I'm not talking to you.
So I was like, okay. But it was hilarious. It was so funny in the moment. I came downstairs and was just like hoping that my husband that Brooks had the monitor on so he could hear it. He didn't.
He did not.
Oh, no. So I told him the story. Yeah. I know. But the crazy thing about it was I was like struck with this idea that like people like are paying attention, like things that you're doing in any part of your life. Yeah. Like are having an impact, whether you see it happening or not. You know what I mean? So like with your kids, with relationships, things that you're doing, we talk all the time about like getting your reps in.
Yeah.
right? Of like doing the small things, the little things matter, the little things add up. And I'm like, since before he could talk, we would like say his nighttime prayers. Same with his
Yeah.
sister. Before he understood, we would like practice, things like mommy forgives you or da da da, or like we say we're
Mhm.
sorry for things when
Right.
we mess
Yeah.
up. Like we as adults do that, or just little things. But same thing with like our relationships, with our health, with the habits that we're building, like all these little things that seem like they're not having an impact. And then when you least expect it, like boom, they just show up. And I'm like, man, this was so cool. Like
Yeah.
never in a million years would I have expected him to ask me to like pray before bed
Right.
and then say the whole prayer and then
Yeah.
also tell me to be quiet because he's not talking to me. It was
You're
just like,
that's amazing.
okay, all
Oh,
these little things add up over time, and we
yeah.
don't always see the impact in the moment, but
Mhm.
they're going to show up. Like the result is going to show up when maybe we don't anticipate it. It's going to show up. The impact is going to be there, and it was hilarious and funny and sweet all in one go around, and
Yeah.
yeah, just
I love
hysterical.
that. Cheering for you. There's so many amazing things in that.
So many good things.
Yeah.
And I wish it had been recorded because it was
Ah,
so
I know.
freaking funny.
I know. That always happens to me, and I'm like, oh, I want to remember this exactly. Like this was so amazing. I
Yeah.
wish it was recorded. Yes, so true. And early on, before you even told us the hilarious, like impactful moment that like Morris caught and taught, and the little things do add up and matter. Before that, even, it was just an aside. It was like a context you were giving us that I felt like was a cheers within itself. When you were saying, like, you noticed what he needed around bedtime, right?
Yeah.
So, like, sometime, like, just noticing the people we love, what they
Yeah.
need, okay? And then, adjusting out of love, not fear, like a fear of like, oh, this is gonna really bring me down if he's like, all hyped up at bedtime. Like, okay, no, he needs, and you've realized or whatever, maybe you experimented with it, that some one-on-one attention before bed matters and it sinks in and it helps him and it's a need of his.
Yeah.
And so that is like such a celebration within itself. Give
It
it
is.
up.
Yeah.
Cheers to
Little
you.
cheers.
Cheers to
Thanks.
you. All right.
Cheers to that. It was good. So,
Okay. So I didn't think I was going to do this, but based on your story, this always happens to us. Based on
all
that,
this
cheers, thinking of a vision as it relates to that scenario. So, like,
division.
broad
Mhm.
picture, um, let's just both say a teeny bit of how important a vision is or isn't for ourselves and our clients in regard to behavior change. Or usually people come to us when there's something that they either want to up level and get better or something they're struggling with. And
Yeah.
I'm so thankful anytime someone raises their hand and says like, hey, because that takes some bravery.
Oh yeah.
So I want to hear a little bit, and then I want to relate it to your cheers as our example, as the importance of casting a vision with what we want for our life. So how important is it to you and different clients that you've worked with over the years?
Mhm. Yeah. For casting a vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like one of the most important things. I mean, in my mind, I think in my experience, like in the clients I've worked with, most of the time they're coming to me, people that we've worked with, they're coming to us even for a lot of issues with not not having a life that they love. Like there's something that's causing a major disconnect. Like they're unhappy in some facet of their life. They're experiencing some deep stress. They're experiencing some deep anxiety, some discontentment, some frustration in their relationship, some disconnection in their relationship.
Yeah.
They're unhappy with themselves. They're lacking some confidence. They're unhappy in their bodies. You know, they don't know who they are. They just can't quite like settle into themselves or their life. And, you know, a lot of that is just kind of this feeling of feeling like lost, right?
Yeah.
In some capacity. And
Right.
so you can't make a plan like to move forward in any direction if you do not know where you want to go.
Right.
Right? Like you
I think
cannot.
that needs to be highlighted and circled. So say that again. It can be in the same way or a different way. But I think that is
Where is our whiteboard? Like, where's our chalkboard? Please remind me. Where
Yes,
are you, Russell
throw
Crowe?
it out. Reel it back. Yeah, say that again.
Russell Crowe, where are you? Yeah, you cannot take steps forward. You can't create a path forward if you do not know where you want to go or where you want to end up, right? So, and part of that is, you know, allowing yourself, I think, to dream about that. I think sometimes, and you kind of hit on this earlier, I forget exactly what you said, but you said something about fear. And I think sometimes we're afraid of dreaming or imagining or envisioning a life that's different because it's scary.
Yeah.
We don't want to allow ourselves to dream about something different because it can be frightening, right?
Yeah.
But we have to allow ourselves to do that and to experiment and to dream and to create a vision of what we want our lives to look like, what we want our relationships to look like, what we want how we want to feel in our bodies, how we want to experience the world, how we want to engage in our community, how we want to engage in our relationships. And if we can do that, if we can allow ourselves to like be freed up to imagine what that would be like and envision that and practice thinking about what that would be like, then we can start saying, okay, now what's going to be like my plan of action? Now I can start to like outline a plan and how I'm going to make that happen. Because you can't make anything happen, right? Until you've created some kind of vision for yourself. So it's super important. It's like hugely, hugely important for the process of behavior change, of transformation. I mean, it's like number one.
Yeah, right. Yes. So true. And I love that. And I know sometimes people feel overwhelmed with that idea. My vision for how this was going to go is we were going to go through, and maybe we still will, go through our 3 kind of areas that we want to help you, like receive that message. We want to help you get healthy.
Yeah.
What's your vision for that? We want to help you connect in your relationships because we know a connected, like close connected relationships. It doesn't have to be a bunch of people, but several close connected relationships impact our health and our mood and just our life, you know? And so connect in your relationships. And the third one is enjoy your life, baby. Let's go.
Yes. Let's have fun.
When you get to the why, whatever your goal might be, when you get to the why underneath that and the why underneath that, at the end of the day, the most common answer people will give me is some version of feel better. And so that is there. And so then we need to cast a vision for the specific things. But oftentimes people get overwhelmed. And I don't blame you if you've been there. I've definitely been there. So of feeling overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, do I need to have a vision for every single thing? Do I need to have a vision for your whole life? Start with where you're at. And, some really good, like a good coaching technique that you can even, use yourself right now for free right now. Write it down, people, is to is to either say like whatever has the most emotional appeal for you, whether it be a complaint, a specific complaint, or a goal, whichever one has the most emotional appeal, that is a great place to start. And to like kind of, and I think it's also important, and I've unfortunately learned this the hard way in my life. You know, it's always harder to apply in your own life. It's like, what the heck? Come on, Kiersten.
You don't say.
Oh,
Stop it.
like, and this is why we need each other, right? This is why we want you to join our community. Do it now. What's the website to join our community so you can get invited to our fun stuff? This wasn't meant to be a quiz.
www.
Yep.
healthierhappierhour.com.
Boom. Go there. Get on our email list so we can invite you and we can be in community with you. Yes. Okay. I digress. Anyway, start with where you're at. Start with where you're at and create a vision. So for it is just the most beautiful place to start. And if shame starts to come up in you, let's just say like, no problem. That makes sense. It may have worked in the past. Sometimes shame works in a very short amount of time period, but like take shame out of your toolbox and let's replace it with some other tools. And even with like the cheers that you did, whether you realized it or not, you had a vision for how you wanted bedtime to be. Oh, and I'm sure you had a complaint at some point or a goal at some point about bedtime.
Yeah, let's go. Right? Let's go.
When you were telling the story, I was like, oh, you do that so much better than me. Meanwhile, Kiersten over here is like, all right, kids, I'm off the clock at 8 p.m. I'm off the clock.
Yeah, I was like, let's go. Come on. It's 8:15. We need to be asleep right
now. So can you tell us, can you think back to a time where bedtime was not going the way you wanted to? And so you incorporated casting a vision and therefore you probably tried a couple things before you found out what worked. I don't know. Talk to us about it.
Oh, also yesterday. Before all of the, like there were also tearful moments in yesterday's bedtime.
Yeah.
So yeah. I will be happy to share those moments as well. The vision. I mean, this this is why we share the moments because progress is not just like this. Even in the one situation, it was like,
that's true. That's a good point too. You're not doing it wrong.
So,
if there's resistance, that is part of the process.
Yeah.
Like think of a great workout that's going to make your muscles stronger. What does it do? What does it do first? It literally tears muscle fibers so you can rebuild them stronger. Mm-hmm. So that is what's happening. So it totally makes sense. There's up and downs, but you can take whatever your goal might be and play with it. And when Carli was talking, I love the way you were describing it. In my mind, I was like, what if we play with turning up the volume on the possibility? Because it's really freaky for our like whole systems and our habits and everything about it. Like our bodies and our people around us want us to stay in this comfort zone of whatever is typical for us. Homeostasis, our body wants to push us back to that spot. Mm-hmm. And we know that growth, improvement, change happens outside of that comfort zone. But that's not to say like it's just going to be smooth sailing, linear, up and out improvements. No. And to sit back down and open up your possibilities. Like if Carli and I talk about this all the time with Healthier, Happier Hour is like magic wand. What would be the best? Like, what would this look like? What would this feel like for me? What would this feel like for my son in this example? And, casting that vision And that also, I don't know about you, but gives me hope and gives me some energy that, yep, this is worth it. And sometimes I get discouraged when it's not as linear as I want it to be. And then I have to remind myself that, yes, this is part of it. And this is what we want to be. We want to be vulnerable with you. Because sometimes people look from the outside looking in and you're like, how did that work? You know? And sometimes you get that gift. But so when it's not as linear for me, I do like to like, okay, cheers and tears it up, get support, but then really just use that vision to help capitalize on that one next step to try something, to experiment, to not go for the outcome as much as like make it as experiment. And that's like one of my like saving graces when I feel stuck. I guess there was like 3 options there, but you know, you have to have lots of options sometimes, especially with me.
Yeah. But I think you're right. Like holding that vision still, like even in those moments of where you feel like you're falling backward, you know, and even to like go back to your example that you asked me, like, oh, where's the moment of bedtime? Like last night before this sweet moment that we had, I was like, Nolan, I'm going to run down and grab your water bottle. You put the books away that we finished reading.
Right.
And so I'm running back up the steps and I hear like thud, thud, thud. He just shoved all the books, like 10 books, onto the floor. And I was like, buddy, where are your books? I don't know. Where are your books?
Oh, no.
I don't know. He shoved them all on the side of the bed.
Okay.
You know, which, whatever. I'm like,
right.
I know exactly where they are. I'm like, did you push them on the side of the bed? No, I didn't do that.
Oh, boy.
Are you telling mommy a lie right now?
No,
I'm not lying.
Oh, boy.
You know, to me, like there's still moments in the whole expanse of things that are like, you know. And so anyway, that began a whole like other escalation of things.
Yeah.
A whole part of the process that morphed into something else where we ended up him throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
For 2 minutes. And
as it does.
You know, and instead, but like exactly to your point, I didn't even realize till we're talking it through now that I was like in my head, like, okay, hold on, my vision of bedtime. I still know where we're going here. I don't want to like lean into my old habits, my old ways of like, let's go. I'm getting angry because we're at this time and you need to be asleep and you're not. You know, I had to keep in mind, like, I know what you need. It's bigger than the time on the clock. Like, what's the vision for you and for bed? And what do you need from me as your mom? And all the things, right?
Yeah.
And so anyhow, it like morphed into this other thing. And he's like, has this, you know, physical touch is his love language and also his way of showing his frustration. I'm like, you can, that's fine. You're mad at me now because you're upset that you got in trouble. You can go over there and punch the pillow. You can't punch mom. You can't hit mommy.
Right.
You can hit the pillow over here. So he's over there like hitting the pillow on the bed for 2 minutes.
Right. He's sweating.
Pow, 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 pow. You know. Anyway, calms down and then gets into bed finally and relaxes. But it's like all of that within, you know, a 5-minute span of time.
Yeah.
And that is like a picture of our life and a picture of our journey in any like transformation that we're trying to accomplish, right? There's going to be like deep pitfalls and minor ones.
Yeah.
And then like major high heights and then littler ones. And we can't allow like those emotions that we experience in the moment either to like drop us down to our knees or to like throw us up to the rooftops. And I think what you're getting at too is like so key because that helps us keep our emotions regulated to a degree of like keeping the vision and keeping, and that doesn't mean we don't feel things. I'm not saying that, which that's a whole other topic for another time, but it helps us in the moment to like keep things regulated to a degree of keeping that vision and trying different things and experimenting with different things. So I just love that you brought that up as like a takeaway.
Yeah.
And was just even helpful for me, like talking this through right now. I'm like, oh yeah.
Right, so good. And when you're just talking about that, it's like stay in the game. Our
Mm-hmm.
vision for you is to stay in the game. It is worth the pursuit. Maybe you might not get there as quick as you thought. If it's a goal that is still worth going, you keep going. You keep showing up. And when you fall down, you might, need some help coming up, but we get back up together. And so
That's
stay
right.
in the game when it comes to getting healthy. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Stay in the game with that, with connecting in your relationships and with enjoying your life. They're all three worthy pursuits. And we love as coaches to get really into your specifics with
Yes.
what we can do and the next right step and getting in motion towards that. And your vision might change and that's cool too. But
Mm-hmm.
having a vision is really powerful and just allowing yourself to open up possibilities and like think about I wasn't much of an actress or anything like that. Lord knows. I could be myself and that's it, right? But think about what theater teachers say is they say like suspend your disbelief. So like go ahead and make it a little bigger and a little brighter, whatever your vision is. Like maybe turn up and open up the aperture a little bit on that so you can just not to say you have to be committed to this or maybe something else might end up happening. You're like, thank God that it's like this is better that happened, right? There was a better situation that came out of it. But having the practice of making a vision when it comes to goals and your life and your day-to-day life and your overall like
Mm-hmm.
plans, it really, really, really matters. And boom, that's all I got to say on that. Um,
Boom.
let's do this thing. All right. So I don't know. You talk to us about how this time together was healthier or happier for you.
Hmm.
And then I have an extra credit question if you're interested. How you
This feels
hope
like a trick.
you hope that the listener might receive a healthier, happier
Hmm.
moment with us. So how
How
was
they?
this healthier, happier for you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of touched on this a minute ago. I think even just like we always do our cheers or tears and talking it through is always helpful. Like it reinforces, even for me as a coach, like we work with clients all the time, talking through their own issues and their own struggles and their own wins.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to do that for ourselves is so beneficial too, I think. Just being able to reflect that and saying, oh, yeah, like that was great. That was powerful. That was so unique.
Yeah.
I knew in the moment, like, this is a really special moment. Like, I want to hang on to
Yeah.
this. This is really cool.
Ah,
But then being able to verbalize it again, I shared it with my husband, but then being able to share it again with you, I'm like, man, there are even like more layers and there's more depth to this than I even realized the first time around.
yeah.
So it's certainly healthier and happier for me in that way. And just remembering again, like, okay, this is the reason why this is important to me. Like, this is what he needs. This is why it's important. This is the vision that I'm aiming for. It's not so much about the outcome or like the specific result, but
Yeah.
about like the picture, the feeling that I want to create, right? Like the experience. That's what it's about. So,
Yeah.
um, really good just for like reorienting.
Yeah.
So definitely healthier and happier. Yeah.
So good. And
Yeah.
that just okay, so I'm gonna try my hand at the extra credit question. Is like
Yeah.
that
Do it.
no one can do it for you. Like
Mm.
even like was helpful for you to do the thing yourself, to reflect on that, to talk it through and to notice in real time. You knew this was impactful and you were like playing the video cam in your brain, right? um
Mhm.
but just some encouragement that this is for you. This episode today is for you. Receive that as you're listening, and keep on showing up and stay in the game on those 3 things that we love helping people with.
Yes.
Okay. So if you have a friend that has a funny story, like Carli and I both shared a pretty crazy, hilarious story. If you have a friend that you want to send this episode to, do it now. Would you please? We really, really want to get all the cool people in our community. And
Yes.
and we want you to join us in that, because no one can do the work for us. You need to show up and do the work, right? You need to say out loud your cheers or tears, or write it out. It's super, super important. So if you're not already, make sure you're in our community. And if you would, it would be super helpful to share this episode with a friend. If you have like a funny story or you think they may enjoy it, shoot a text, email. If you share it on social media, which is our handle is Healthier Happier Hour on Instagram, tag us. Make sure you tag us so that way we can see it. And we'd love to know that you're sharing this episode, or, the pose that I need to, or you want to see the dress, the prom dress.
Maybe we should have that on a future episode. We should come back in our prom dresses.
Wearing prom dresses.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I only have one of the 2, so.
Same.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay. So before we leave, we're trying a new tradition. And it's giving you something like very tangible, actionable, how you can practice what we talked about in this podcast. Put it into practice so you can start to get some momentum and be like, okay. And when you feel that momentum, make sure you celebrate it. Let us know. Cheer. Ooh, ooh. Okay. So let's both just say a quick thing that you think would be helpful. What do you think would be helpful to put this podcast into practice?
I mean, I think the most obvious thing is you got to start with your vision, and that can come out in a couple of different ways. You can look at you mentioned the 3 things we stand for, like getting healthy and feeling good, connecting in your relationships, enjoying your life. You can pick one of those 3 things. You could pick all 3 and just jot down, or start like word vomiting if you want, or, just splash out a bunch of pictures or images someplace, create something, paint a picture in your head if you want, like voice memo something to yourself. Just get some space for yourself to think about and allow yourself the freedom to dream about, what do I want like that part of my life to be like? What does it mean for me to really like get healthy and feel good in my body? What does it really mean for me to connect to my relationships? What do I want that to be like? What does it really mean for me to enjoy my life, and to really allow yourself to dream and just like experience and envision what that would feel like. So I think figuring out, like experimenting with and figuring out a way that you can do that, and creating something or giving yourself space to just do that in a tangible way with something that you can hang on to. Because, it's one thing to just like think about it, but I'm a firm believer, and this, in like writing stuff down or having something to look at or go back to. Because if you just think about it, like that's going to disappear. Right? Like that's going to fade
morph depending on your mood. You might move the goalposts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it might anyway, but like if at least you have something you can look at as a reference point, it's still probably going to change, but like at least you have a frame of reference and something you can look at and be like, oh yeah, I said I wanted this. Like, am I moving toward that or not? So first step, just let yourself.
I love it.
Dream.
I would say, you know, me, Carli, I like to get your win, get your easy win. So just pick one of them, whatever feels more emotionally appealing to you. The get healthy, connect in a particular relationship, and that could include yourself, right?
Yeah.
You spend the most time with yourself and enjoy your life. Figure out which one you have more emotion with and start there. And that is how you could practice and do that. And I love your different examples of using words, using, just journaling, using pictures, playing a video in your head, trying it on for size. I love all those things. And so I think that's a beautiful way to leave everyone. And we're just thankful that you're here. You still have time before your hour is up, especially if you're like me and listens to your podcast a little faster on 1.25. You have time to get your healthier, happier hour. Do it. Invest in that. Pick one of those and start, thinking about a vision.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's do it. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Healthier, happy hour. Cheers. We're cheering for you.
We are cheering for you. Let's go.